Learning with Pibby was one of Adult Swim's most surreal and most popular April Fool's pranks. If you don't remember, it was a 2.5-minute semi-fake concept trailer that started off as a parody of educational kids cartoons, like Dora the Explorer. It starts off colorful and innocent, then becomes horrific after a glitch starts infecting Pibby's world and even swallows her friend. The added twist is that Pibby ends up traveling to other worlds where the glitch is taking over, and some of these worlds are actually Cartoon Network / Hanna-Barbera properties like Scooby-Doo, The Flintstones, Adventure Time, and more. If you haven't seen it, it is definitely worth a watch. Pibby was a really fun idea, and even though it was an April Fool's joke, it was intended to be somewhat of a backdoor pilot created by Dodge Greenlee. At the time of recording this, the original Pibby short has almost 40 million views on YouTube. Fans have been begging for this show to become a reality for at least 3 years, and unfortunately, we just got a pretty somber update about it on Instagram via Dodge Greenlee. From his post, it sounds like development of this show was really tough. It reads, "In 2019, I pitched a show idea about a cute preschool character facing the apocalypse, and through 2020, I worked on her story in a real-world apocalypse. I wish I could say developing her story was a delight, but honestly, it was like being punched in the soul every week." If you notice in the short/trailer, there are a lot of original non-Cartoon Network characters in there as well, and a full pitch bible was actually leaked a while back. It seems like they really went all out to try and get this thing made into a full-on series. Dodge then talks about what a massive success the original short was. "When we released the trailer for Learning with Pibby in 2022, it seemed like all my hard work was worth it. Millions of people watched the video and fell in love with Pibby, and it seemed like she was destined to get a full TV show. I was told it was unprecedented. They had hoped for at best 1 million views, and she rocketed past 10 million in the first week. People became fans from a 2.5-minute video, and the fans were, and still are, amazing, making so much beautiful art and sending the kindest messages any artist could ever hope for. Despite all of the success, the massive online support, and the growing fan base that he got out of just this 2.5-minute trailer, they did not want to move forward with it at Adult Swim. Pibby still wasn't picked up to be a full show, so the soul punching continued. We kept working, and when we finally pushed through, we took Pibby out to sell the show, and we pitched it the second week of the writer's strike. Tens of millions of views, 3 awards, but no one wanted original content. Now, this is a larger problem in the industry right now, and this especially is crazy because this show feels so far up Adult Swim's alley. This feels like the exact kind of thing you would find channel surfing on Adult Swim between midnight and 4 a.m. Unfortunately, it was of course the massive AT&T merger with Warner that seemed to be the culprit in preventing this from becoming a show, as though we didn't have enough stuff to blame Zaslav for. And things are really rough. This is as surefire of an original idea as you can have. It already had millions and millions of views. It was a success right out the gate. It wasn't even a gamble. And yet they don't want original content. They want to rehash and reboot and revive old things that already have fan bases. And it doesn't really make any sense in this context. It is also possible that they were a little bit afraid of using their existing IP and characters and having them sort of glitch and become corrupt in an official series. Although in things like multiverses, they let like the Powerpuff Girls fight Rick Sanchez and Jason Voorhees, so it doesn't feel that much different to me. Adult Swim also wasn't new to remixing old IP. I mean, shows like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, or of course Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, used old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and IP and repurposed them into entirely new kinds of series, and those were very successful. But I do understand that those were IP that were kind of dead in the water, and they were kind of reviving them and resuscitating them in new ways, whereas Pibby would rely on the existing IP, much of which still has ongoing projects at the moment. Of course, they didn't have to commit to the existing IP or characters to being corrupted. They could have used all the original characters that were in the pitch bible, though I do also understand that maybe the real draw of this series is the fact that it's corrupting existing IP. Is it as attractive or fun if it's not using any of the existing characters we know? No other network wanted Pibby either, which is a huge shame, but it's not too surprising. The show felt like it was tailor-made for Adult Swim. It's hard to imagine it being anywhere else. But it's still a proven concept, which is crazy because those barely exist when creating new shows these days. Dodge's post continues, "In the following years, I fell into a deep depression. Every time someone asked me about Pibby, every comment, every message pains me so deeply. I wish I could make more. I wish she could have her whole story. It's hard to talk about this time, but I'm properly medicated and therapized, so I'm trying to turn this corner and move on." And it really sucks because this was a huge, huge success for this guy. Dodge Greenlee made something that was massively successful. 40 million views is insane, and it actually is just this source of pain, and he sees it as this professional failure, which sucks because he did something amazing that barely anyone has ever done. It does have to suck to have this major success and then have these expectations based on that success only for things to fizzle out in such a spectacular way. But there's so many fans of this show still, and it's such a bummer that it only causes him pain. The final panel says, I have a few pieces of art for Pibby that I'd still like to share with the world, but this is the end of her story for me. Love, Dodge. Man, this is such a sad sign-off. It's a really somber, sobering update, especially for fans who were hoping that something might come from it. But it sounds like not only is Adult Swim not interested, not only are other networks not interested, but it causes Dodge so much pain that he just wants to move on and move past it and not work on it anymore and not work on trying to get this made anymore, which I know at a certain point you reach a dead end, but it sucks that he just wants to move past it. This huge, amazing success, this thing that people love, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. He wants to move on. I don't think we should fully write off the show from ever happening. Executives swap out all the time at these networks. It's very possible that at some point we might get an exec who understands the value in Pibby and sees how amazing of an opportunity that was and how unique of an idea that was, and they might move forward with it, but I definitely don't think we should get our hopes up. Once you're this far into a pitch, once a thing has existed for this long without going anywhere, it's hard to imagine it actually kind of coming to fruition. But crazier things have happened, so it's not impossible. Especially because these days it feels like studios are more rigid than ever. They're greenlighting less than ever. We are getting only reboots and revivals and so few new original shows. And while some of these reboots and revivals seem interesting and promising, we're getting less new original animated content than ever. And it sucks that this was such a cool opportunity to create a new original show that did at least tie to existing IP. You at least had the tie to existing IP to draw people in. It feels like the exact opportunity to build something new on something existing. And I don't know, I just don't think studios or execs are understanding the value in the original content game these days. At a certain point, we're not going to have any shows left to revive. We will have revived all of them, and they'll be done. People will be over them. At a certain point, if you want to make revivals, you have to make new original shows that can then be revived. And at this point, in 10 years, what things can we revive unless we're just reviving things again and again and again and again, which maybe that's where we're headed. Who knows? It's rough. But anyways, I want to know what you think about Pibby, what you think about this really sad update from Dodge Greenlee. Did you like the Pibby shorts? Do you wish it had become a series, or do you think it was kind of better as just this cool April Fool's short? Let me know below in the comments, and stay tuned for more. Peace.
I stay mellow watching Johnny Two Cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny Two Cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.